Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. On the agenda tonight we have Junior Brown, and this is going to be coming from 1996, and it's going to be a surf medley. So let's get Junior up on screen and see how he gets on. I'm just going to jump in here just to point out a few things. He's playing with palm muting on some of these lines, really giving a different dynamic to each of the notes that he plays, just by resting his palm on the lower end of those strings where the bridge is. But that'll give it that muted sound, but just enough so you can still hear those notes come out nice and clearly. You can see also the fact that he's got those finger picks actually on his fingers, which means that he can then play fingerstyle if he wants to. He occasionally throws in a little bit of that, but the elephant in the room is the fact that he's got a lap steel guitar and a guitar in one here. But this is his own invention, his own custom guitar called a guit-steel, I think. I'm not sure whether he says it like that, probably different in an American accent, but it's just those two guitars made into one single body. And the fact that he can actually switch between just playing standard normal fretted notes like he's playing at the moment and then down into slide guitar really opens up the door to so many more possibilities in terms of expression and sound whilst you're playing. In the lap steel guitar, he's actually got a little pocket at the top there where he keeps his slide. So it means that he can then pop that out and get straight into slide playing. So you can have a really cool transition from one guitar to the next, just seamlessly moving into a different style. And of course, you've got to have the ability to play in both styles here. And this being a surf medley, unfortunately, we're not going to be getting into any slide work, but that's more associated with the whole country sound. So we're just going to be getting fretted notes on the Fender Bullet, the top half of the guitar here. Another thing to point out is the fact that Junior's getting his fingers underneath the bridge and just bending it up in order to get that sound of the whammy bar, to get that decrease in tension in the strings, which will then make the pitch go down and then come up. Classic kind of surf sound that you get all the time, and that's exactly how he's achieving it. You can do exactly the same thing, of course, with a whammy bar just by touching it down and letting it come back up. The only problem, of course, Junior's got here is the fact that if he had a whammy bar hanging down, his hand is going to brush into that other lap steel guitar that's underneath where he's playing. So it's going to be a bit of an issue technically, but of course, being able to get his fingers underneath it means that he can still get that same effect. But let's get back into the performance. can just see there using that right hand just to get underneath the bridge like I mentioned before. Another thing that Junior does, obviously great bends we saw in there as well, really deliberate bends, but something that he does is use the machine heads to actually do something musical with the guitar, and it's not one of those things you used to see a lot. I mean, this is 1996 and Junior is picking out pitches by decreasing the tension in the string and then increasing the tension again by twisting the machine head. Generally, if you don't play guitar, that's how you tune your guitar. That will change the pitch of the strings to get each one to the pitch that you want, to standard tuning or whichever tuning you're actually aiming for. But then to use it actually musically is a really cool effect because it's going to sound like a never-ending bend. You can literally get it to go down as far as you want. Obviously, the lower you get, the looser that string's going to become, so it will just become really floppy. But you can take it down as Junior's doing here. He's kind of taking it down a tone, a couple of tones sometimes, but then coming straight back up again. And just being able to do that quickly and musically is a real skill in itself, because imagine if you took that pitch down and you missed those pitch points and you weren't actually hitting your key as you were going down and you were a little bit sharp, a little bit flat, and then when you came back up, if you don't get the tuning exactly right, then everything else you play on that string beyond that point is then going to sound a bit nasty. So just being that accurate is, it's really cool. It takes a lot of practice in order to do that. Of course, tone-wise, we're super clean here and really bright as well, so that Junior's guitar is the main focus of this whole piece. So if anything went wrong, it would really stick out. But Junior's on it all the time. He's never really missing anything, and he's putting that showmanship into it as well. The way that you can see him smiling and playing and getting into it, and I've mentioned in other videos, the fact that when you see someone playing and they're enjoying it, or they look like they're enjoying it, then you start to enjoy it as well, because it just really does portray through to the audience and to the people watching it that you're having a great time. And there's nothing worse than watching somebody play on stage who's just a bit awkward and looks like they're not really enjoying it. So Junior's playing really dynamically here, introducing a little bit of palm muting on the right hand, but also letting those strings ring out in certain places. He's also doing a bit of barring, really filling out the sound as well as playing lead, almost going a little bit rockabilly at times, throwing in some of those lines, but it really adds to the whole diversity of what he's playing. He's keeping it interesting the whole time. It's so easy to get stuck in repeating lines when you're playing a long lead piece. This is over 6 minutes, so he's going to really have to work to keep people interested for this whole period. But 3 minutes 05 and he's doing a great job already. Of course, having such a clean tone and being the main center of attention here, anything that goes wrong will just stick out like a sore thumb. So Junior's technique has got to be absolutely top notch throughout this whole performance. Over 6 minutes worth of effective lead guitar solo. This was the requested video, but check out some of the other videos of Junior's where he actually uses that lap steel guitar and gets into some of his slide work, because it's really cool to then have that as an option whilst you're playing live. And Junior just seamlessly goes from just playing standard fretted notes into that slide playing. So it's really cool to watch. So check out some of the other videos. But thank you so much for suggesting this one in the first place, and keep those suggestions coming in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys at the next one. Rock!